Hello again, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and we are back with the Random Aesthetics Challenge, with the second part to this two-part build because I take too long building. And our first apartment is the Plant Parent and Goth aesthetics. This one is not hard for me because I love both of these aesthetics, and I love this archway from the Realms of Magic. It is one of my favorite. I wish there was more swatches in it because I love the stained glass, as I mentioned last time, but I wish it came in so many more colors, because I don't think we really have that many stained glass in The Sims 4. I would love to have a stained glass, like, kit or something come out, because I would love to have so many more stained glasses. So as you can see here, we're just setting down the, basics, all the doors and such, and I love the for rent, tiling. It's such a nice patterned tile, and it adds so much with the Realm of Magic, because to me, it adds the perfect air of whimsy to the kitchen that's needed for the Realm of Magic counters. And here I'm just putting together the bathroom, trying to figure out what aesthetic of the Goth and Plant Parent we're going with. So for Goth, I decided to purely just go with mainly blacks for the entire build, so a lot of the swatches are just black. Whereas we always add that pop of green with the Plant Parent. Because, I mean, what else is Goth supposed to be for an aesthetic of the, for housing aesthetic? And here I had a little bit of trouble trying to fit everything onto this little shelf I put on top of the bath. But as long as you see, I used those plant pots to take up the spaces that was originally on that shelf, and just deleting the stuff afterwards once I got everything in the place that I wanted it. And I don't really do this a lot, but I do love adding trash cans into bathrooms, because you normally have one in the bathroom, but I always forget to add one just cause. I don't know why I did the bathroom first, but I guess I just wanted to. And I think it came out really well. I love the dark gothic coloring with the pops of green from the Plant Parent. It's so nice. And I've been loving this tiling from base game, because it just has so much texture, even though it's a plain black swatch. And with that, I believe we're done with the bathroom. Now onto the kitchen. So I use the Realm of Magic counters, and I really only like this swatch of the Realm of Magic because I love having the checkerboard as a part of the counters. I love counters with a bit of coloring to them or interest to them, because another one of my favorite counters is from the Home Chef Hustle, because they have counter swatches with stone on it, and I love how they look. And I wish we had more counters like that have a little bit more interest to them. And as you can see here, I'm just adding some counter space, or some upper cabinets, and playing around with the configuration. And it's so hard trying to figure out what kind of curtains to put above the counters, because I don't want it to clip too much. And we don't have that many short curtains that look nice. And over here I decided to add some more of the plants, because all we've been doing right now is a lot of the gothic, a lot of black. So over in this corner we are adding a lot of plants. And I thought that the Realm of Magic dried plants work really well in this area. And just adding a couple different kind of clutter items for the kitchen. For this apartment, I kind of feel maybe the parent here is like a sorceress or some kind of like occult that works with a lot of plants. Maybe it's a plant sim, who knows? A plant sim that just really likes the color black. And I did make this apartment with 2 rooms. So I made one for a parent sim and then one for a child sim. And it can be for like any gender. I just went with the color purple because it worked really well with the aesthetic of the build. So now we're getting along into the like living room, which of course is still the nice dark coloring with the green pops of color. And I love this like couch set I got with like the green cushions. It works really well for this aesthetic. And getting to use this rug from For Rent with the leaves. And like, as you can see, I'm trying to play around with maybe doing a fireplace, but I decided against it. And finally using this like plant side table. And just a lot more plant life everywhere. The basics of this build is just everything is black and there are plants everywhere, which I think is really fun. I love that plant swatch of the, I think it's Tiny Living pictures. They're so nice. I love that swatch of them with like the 3 different leaves. And I did use like the Tiny Living like dining room right here because I think it works really well in this space because there's not a whole lot you can do. And as you can see, I'm trying to like custom place some of these things. I'm just cluttering everything right now. It's always so hard to find those like salt and pepper shakers for me, because like I keep forgetting what they're called because they are not called salt and pepper shakers. And over here I decided to add a little tiny nook with the little book nook couch, because I love the book nook kit. It's really good, especially if you love adding little details. And see here, I decided to extend the master bedroom because I felt like it needed a little bit more space. And of course adding these little everyday clutter things because I love how they look and it just adds so much to a build. I like the idea of them like coming in and like putting down their mail somewhere, hanging their bags up on the hooks. It's so fun to imagine. And over here I decided to add like a little workspace because I imagine that the parent is like a work from home fashion person. That's where that like corkboard comes from, is from the home decor. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically someone that like designs outfits for other Sims. And like it's a work from home or a work in person kind of career. And it's a very simple career. I recommend. I don't remember what pack it's from. And I love that I added all these like little plants all around the little work area because it's kind of like bringing their hobbies into their workspace. Alrighty, and now we're going into the master bedroom. And I kind of went with the industrial loft for this one because I loved how the bed looked as the black swatch. So it worked really well with the little pops of color. And I love this wallpaper from Vampires. Like, even though it may not, like, I used to not like it, but I just have been loving it. Just because I love the pattern that it gives, and like certain colors of this patterned wallpaper are not intensely intrusive. So some colors I will never use, but some I will absolutely, because I love this black swatch. It's so nice, and I love the little bats. And here I'm just cluttering up the entire little bedroom, trying to figure out what to put everywhere. Trying to figure out what all clutter we can put. And of course I'm going back and forth if I ever see a little piece of clutter. And here I decided to add like the book and mug from the book nook kit on top of the bed. It's real simple to do with the 9 key, and I decided to move it over to the sofa, which of course you just raise or lower with the 9 and 0 key. Adding a couple more clutter to the living room. And I love adding the little phone. It's so fun seeing the different swatches. One of my favorite is like the blue striped swatch on the phone, like the little strawberry keychain, and then there's one that has like a bunny keychain or like a bear keychain. And here we are figuring out what to do for like the kids' room, and I love the color of this bed because it's like green and purple. And I decided I didn't want the kid to have like a pure black aesthetic, because when I thought about it I was just like, I feel like their mom or dad is definitely the like gothic darkness person, but there's no reason that the kid also has to have pure black in their room. So I decided to give them more of like a purpley shade to their room so that way I could use the Realm Magic wallpaper that is purple on top and like gray on the bottom. It still suits with the gothic aesthetic, it just adds a little pop of color for the kid. And it just works really well together with this bed and the Dream Home Decorator kits. And of course adding all sorts of little like kid things so that way they can have fun in their room, like coloring and decorating. And of course Bacula has to come into this room because Bacula is perfect for this room. And whenever there's any kind of like little art space, I have to add the cats and dogs newspaper thing because I love it so much. To just add a little bit of extra to the art areas, it makes me feel like, oh, they might spill some like paint here, so we're gonna add just a little bit of protection for the flooring of some sort. It's always fun for me. And it's always hard to find this one, like, covering, because I think it's in wall decorations, not in curtains. Even though it's similar to a lot of the wall decorations or curtains from the Snowy Escape pack. And with just a few extra little posters, we're about done with the kids' room. And just adding a little decorations to the parents' room. Alrighty. Now just to figure out what exactly to do to fill up this strange space that I left in this like transitional area. I decided to leave it a transitional area because like if I extend that dining room, it just feels like it's way too busy. And now we get to finally move on to the last place, which I decided to make a small little greenhouse. And it's hard trying to figure out how I wanted to place everything and it still be functional. I wanted to give the sim as many planting spots as possible and it still be a functional space. And I think I definitely got that. And I also added the little flower arranging table. I haven't used it much, but I know it is fun to do, especially if you want to like use your own flowers to make little bouquets and decorations for the house. And just adding as many plants to this gothic house. And as you can see here, we're wrapping up, just adding the tiniest little bits extra that we may want. And there we go. That is the Gothic plant person house, and now we're on to the next apartment, which I know it says Dreamcore, but I somehow mixed that up in my head and thought Space Core. I don't know why, but that happened, so I put Space Core in Dark Academia. I am so sorry for not doing Dreamcore. I would have had so much more fun with Dreamcore, because Space Core in Dark Academia is so much harder. So in order to do this Space Core in Dark Academia, I did use a lot of the get to work stuff, because when I think of Space Core, I think the aliens and everything. So it's kind of a weird mix for the Dark Academia and the Space Core. I ended up kind of making it to where some sections are more Space Core, some sections are more Dark Academia. So the kitchen is definitely fully Space Core, whereas the bedroom has a bit more of the Dark Academia twist. Because, like, we don't have a lot of space stuff for, like, Sims 4. Even though I have Get to Work, there's not a lot of space stuff other than the cool paintings you get from the observatory. And, like, unless you want to go fully, like, the intense space decades kind of thing, it doesn't really help. Because, like, as you can see, I'm having a lot of trouble trying to figure out what kind of counters and, like, what to make it look. Because, like, when you think Space Core, you think spaceship. But Dark Academia is all about, like, the very intense booky vibe and, like, all sorts of, like, old style, like, furnishings and stuff like that. So it was really hard trying to figure out how to combine these two. I did, like, end up with something that I think is okay, but it's not the best meshing of the two. I definitely would never have mixed these two aesthetics on my own. The wheel definitely gave me a hard challenge, even though it technically gave me Dreamcore and Dark Academia, not this. I still have no idea why I saw it as Space Core, not Dreamcore. Because, like, if I had gotten Dreamcore, I could have done, like, a Starry Night kind of inspired thing, but instead it's, like, a vampire that works as a scientist, I guess. That's the best way I can explain who lives here, is just a vampire that works as a scientist. So, like, half of the house has that Dark Academia of, like, how he used to live, and the rest is all the newer stuff that he's gotten since he has, like, worked as a scientist. He's gotten all this other stuff. And as you can see here, I'm, like, playing with the idea of adding the space pillows, because I think it's really fun to add these little space pillows to just give a little bit of extra detail to the bed to add more of the space theme, even though it's Dark Academia. And, like, the best thing about adding the Dark Academia is this desk, and I add some bookshelves later from the Crystal Creations. The Crystal Creations has, like, some of the best furniture in my opinion. I love the desk and the bookshelves from Crystal Creations. I do kind of wish that the Crystal Creations bookshelves didn't have the two-tone shelves, because that would make them mesh a lot better with other packs. But I still appreciate that they look so nice. And here I'm just going through adding any kind of little details that I think are necessary. Moving around some of the furniture so that way it's a little bit easier. because I really wanted to use that gaming console because I thought it definitely would work in here. And just grabbing any kind of sci-fi or dark academia kind of thing. And I went with these wallpapers because this navy blue with all of the dots on it looked like the night sky. I then used the Crystal Creations wallpaper because it's very dark academia. And the herringbone also helps the dark academia vibe. The bathroom has nothing to do with that dark academia, but I couldn't figure out how to mix that in the bathroom. So I kind of went full space core in there. Like, now, after doing this room, I probably could do something better if I went less with the, like, sci-fi space core and more with an astronomer kind of space core. So focusing more on the telescope and kind of like star signs and stuff. I think it would have worked much better if I had done it that way. And see, this is what I mean by like the two-tone swatches of the bookcases. I wish it had been like fully one tone, but I still love how they look. The addition of the letter is a really nice touch. And here I am just going around cluttering everything, because why have shelves if you do not clutter them? And like trying to figure out how best to add little things here and there to the walls. This is a very small apartment, so there's not much to do, which I think is good for me, at least with this specific aesthetics, because I could not do much more. Alright, and that's it. Our next aesthetic is so much easier for me because we got grunge. And even though I don't have the werewolf kit, I tried my hardest to do grunge. And we also got library, which I think is really fun because it's like dark academia, but red brick instead. Because I love red brick. I love this red brick from the Vampires kit, and I try my hardest to make it as grungy as possible. So I kind of went with the, like, brick exposed warehouse vibe, like, not warehouse, but like a very modern-esque apartment. So the kind of apartments you would see where they still have the original brick showing through, and it's got like the vaulted ceilings and the concrete bathroom, stuff like that. And I think it's just so fun. And as you can see here, I decided to go with some of the more interesting eco-lifestyle doors because they added this nice outside. I was considering using the free bed, or not the free bed, but it's like a bed that you can get from the dumpster. But I preferred this, like, plaid one, because when you think grunge, you also think plaid. And now I just use a lot of the book nook to add this massive wall of books, because you have to have a massive wall of books if one of the things is a library. And the book nook seat, like, couch fits perfectly in the little corner. I like adding some of the country life kitchen because it works really well in this space. Because even though it's not like super run down, it still adds a bit of wear to the space without too much. And I was considering adding the TV in here, but I ended up adding it somewhere else. I think I added it into the bedroom. And here I just continue with the wall of books. And I wanted to add like a little table here to add some more clutter to. And here I go adding more plaid because you have to. It's necessary in a grunge build. I went with the Realm of Magic table because I thought that the bar seat was perfect in here. And I know that the plants are clipping, but I decided I was just gonna cover a lot of the plants with cabinets and such. And I know there's a lot of clipping into this area, but I'm sorry about that. It's just, it happens to be a really small bathroom. And here I go trying to like dirty up the wall with all these little grungy bits. And like, I love that industrial loft decals, but you can only do so many. I did end up adding this little shrimp decal, which I think is really fun. And here I'm just going around adding little details here and there. I kind of feel like for some reason this person really admires the fact that they live in this building, and maybe they have the backstory that this used to be like a coffee warehouse or something, even though it definitely was not a coffee warehouse. They just got this decal off of like Etsy or something and just insists that this place has some kind of historic warehouse vibe, so that way they can say that they live in a warehouse. And here I made like a little built-in desk, which I thought was really fun. And I see this person as being like an artist of some type, because it really makes sense for them to be. Because if they're gonna go through the effort of like putting this much work into their apartment, of like changing everything about it, they gotta be an artist. So they've made like all of this into their ideal aesthetic of warehouse library. And here I go adding a lot of stuff to this wall. I wanted to make it as busy as possible. And of course, we gotta add the gay flag, gay rights, all of that. And I just added a lot of fun stuff to the wall. Stuff that I think will maybe help them, or like stuff maybe that they stole from like where, like other places, or like bought online. I wish we had stop signs. Like, I wish we had stop sign decor. I don't know if we do in a different pack, but it'd be fun. And here I add the like little wraparound of the book nook kit, which you do not see in any of my photos or my little tour, because like it's really hard to see that, but I know it's there. I know they have a little wraparound. And here I'm just going around adding more and more books. Because this is a library after all. You have to have so many books. You even have to have books in the bathroom. Because why not? This is a library after all. You must have books everywhere. I added little shower, like shampoos and stuff, and just a little bit more decoration to the bathroom. Oh, and that reminds me, so like, a lot of the kits are on sale right now, so I highly recommend if you wanted to get any kind of expansion pack, a lot of them are on sale right now for 50% off. Highly recommend going to the shop and looking if you're interested in any, because I only recommend getting the packs on sale. And now for the last apartment, we got monochrome and cyberpunk, which was really hard for me because, like, to me, cyberpunk has the neon colors, and it's hard to think about cyberpunk as anything but like a black void and pops of color with the neon. So I kind of leaned into the medical for this. So I leaned in and did a lot of more like stainless steel and white for this, because I felt like that was the easiest way for me to do cyberpunk and stay in a monochrome color. And here I decided to like make a bathroom that was kind of open, but not super open. Because to me, this is kind of like a studio apartment, and in some of the studio apartments I've been in, they've only really had a curtain to cut off from the bathroom. Which isn't bad, especially if you're just like in this small little apartment. And this is actually one of the first times that I used that like bar without covering the lights with some sort of mirror. Which is kind of interesting because the lights actually work with Cyberpunk. And I couldn't find it here. I was looking for like the neon and everything. I don't know why I could not find it, but I did end up, like, I do like this space. I don't know if it's exactly cyberpunk. You guys can tell me if I like nailed the cyberpunk or not. If anything, I did make a futuristic hospital room. Like, it for sure has that, because, like, to me, when I think cyberpunk, I also think the enhancements you get. So, like, the cyberpunk enhancements. So what I feel like is this studio apartment is for somebody that works on cybertronics and, like, helps you get everything together. So, like, this is the person giving you the enhancements. So that's why there's the exam table and the, like, fabricator. They're the ones making the parts and, like, attaching it to you. Even though I definitely feel like this probably should have been a basement if that was the case. But they got an attic, it's okay. And, like, they got a full bar because, who knows, maybe they're really into drinking. And, like, so in order to do this, you have to have a count, like, it's not a standard counter, you have to have the island counter, and then you can just slot a computer to anywhere. Because all you have to do is, you just have to minimize the counter while it has the computer on it, and you're able to slot the computer anywhere. Same with the coffee maker, as I'm doing right now, because I really wanted the coffee maker on top of that, like, counter, but it's a bar, so it can't slot there. And here is when I did not find the neon. I know that there's neon in there, but I did add these fun little hexagon lights, which I thought were so much fun. And, like, my name is Bexagon. I have to have hexagons somewhere. And, like, this is the only kind of hexagons. And then I use these debug lights because they are very bright, so they help. And just finishing up by adding some of the rugs, because I feel like you need rugs. It kind of helps an area kind of tie together. And then I use this fun eco-lifestyle art wall against that to kind of finish off the area. And just finishing up with clutter, because you gotta add clutter. It's always necessary. If there's no clutter, I feel like it's kind of an empty build, because it doesn't have life to it, if that makes sense. Because, like, when you add clutter, you're adding a story. So, like, all the little bits and bobs that are not necessary help define what story you're trying to tell with the build. Alright, and that is it. Now we're gonna do a tour. I hope you enjoy. And so I will be putting this on the gallery. It has the hashtags random aesthetic, and I added some more hashtags, and my EA ID is Bexagon, I believe. I'll put the links in the description so you can find me. I had so much fun doing this. And this is my first time using this cinematic mode, but it was so much easier than I thought it was. So let me know, like, would you change anything about this build? Do you think I did well with the aesthetics I was given? I would love to know. And as you can see, my little sim is there. Because when you do cinematic, you have to be in live mode. I didn't know that. So my sim is just watching some TV while we do the little tour. I really do think that the first floor apartment is my favorite. I may just be a little bit biased, because it's a dark, gloomy, with pops of color. And that is very much the kind of aesthetic that I love to build with. Although, I know recently I've been leaning more towards like mid-tone browns. But I'll always have like the darkness inside me that I love. And here you'll see the magically appearing shower, because I had a lot of issues with clipping while I was doing this. The next time I do a tour, I'll be sure to not have everything be clipping. And so, like, over here, when we go outside, this is why I know that the fridge breaks when it's raining, because it was raining in my file while I was doing the tour. And when I went outside, the fridge is broken. But don't worry, before I uploaded it to the gallery, I did fix the fridge, so it's fixed. And because it's spring, the flowers also aren't the best looking in the tour, and I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure to try and do summer next time that I do tours of my builds. Even though this build did not come out, like, this specific aesthetics didn't go together the best, I still think it looks really cool. Because, like, I am very much a science nerd. I like science a lot. I am technically, like, I had a science career, so I very much love all the sciencey bits, and any kind of realism to the science careers is so much fun. So I always love playing as the scientist in my own games. So the Sims team also just recently uploaded the artist studio, which I'm really excited about, because it adds so much more clutter for the artist room, and it's going to be so much fun to play with, because I love the artist, like, hobby, and it's so much fun to mess with that. And here we go into the lovely grunge library. I do really wish I had the werewolf pack, because the werewolf pack has a lot more of this grungy aesthetic to it. But I still don't have the werewolves. So I did the best with what I could, and I think it came out really well. I like that I glitched into the shower for that shot, it was fun. And the base game bed has never looked so nice. Like, it just fits really well into this space. And I love that eco lifestyle, like, vintage TV. I wish we had more super small TVs like that. Because it makes a space have so much more fun and, like, worth when you have, like, tiny little things in areas that you normally wouldn't be able to add. And now we go up to our final little area, or apartment, the cyberpunk apartment, which I do think came out well. I do think that if it wasn't monochrome, I could have done a better cyberpunk aesthetic. But the bed, like the hospital bed and the fabricator, really help it a lot. And now we go into the outside to just look at the lovely Victorian kittycore aesthetic in a better close-up look than what we did last time on our last video. I still think the outside was probably my best work. I love how the outside looks. It's just so fun and it has so many different colors. And it all like meshes so well. Alrighty, well that is the build video for today. I hope you had fun. I really enjoyed building this and you're welcome to do it as well. It's such a fun build challenge and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!